and step on them. Protect at all costs, put a vest on them.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. My name is RiKO Boxing. I've stopped the KO bit because it sounded really weird. And I have a very, very special guest, somebody who I've looked up to for so long. I can't stop singing this man's praises, but I'll let him say it himself. We have the legend, the voice of British boxing, Adam Smith. Adam, how are you?
I'm great, Ricco. I'm really well, thank you. Yeah, very happy to be back around in the sport that I love, and yeah, full of gratitude for so many things, for the doctors that got me better, and for my family and friends' support, and for the boxing community for yeah, welcoming me back after my time away. I feel strong. I feel good. And as I said, really grateful to be doing what I love.
Well, you look incredible, Adam. I know I say that all the time, but you genuinely look great. You look full of health. Just obviously on that side, everything is okay. You're feeling good. I mean, we couldn't even say welcome you back. You belong here. This is something that you helped build, Adam. But how does it feel? Being back, sort of with the commentary and everything, because you've been doing it for a while now.
Yeah, sure. I mean, when I was 9, 10 years old, I just wanted to talk about sport. I had a dictaphone, and all I did was annoy my parents and turn the TV down, turn the radio down, and just do my own sort of commentary. So yeah, I guess people are born to box. I guess I was born to storytell, to talk about sport. Boxing hit me when I was a young kid, and yeah, I've just always been fascinated, intrigued by the sport, the amazing fighters that do this day in, day out, the training that gets behind it, physically, mentally, the business, of course, which I've been in for so long. And yeah, and I think when I was ill, and it was as you know the story, it was a fight for survival. I was very lucky to make it, and I think while I had a long time thinking about it in hospital and back at home, I wondered whether I'd return to a business, a sport that I'd been in pretty much 24/7. And I think, yeah, I think it's just in me. Cut me open and I bleed boxing. I bleed my love of fighters, and I'm just really grateful to be back. I'm really happy to be holding a mic again, and commentating, whether it's around the UK, or whether it's in Saudi, whether it's a massive show, whether it's a small show. It doesn't really matter to me. Obviously, the elite fighters like Bivol and Benavidez last weekend was incredible. Just to be there to watch them. It's poetry in motion. It was a dance, wasn't it? It was phenomenal, and it's just an honor to be there. But also, whether it's a 6 round fight or a British title fight, or tomorrow I'm calling the European super featherweight title down in Bournemouth. It doesn't really matter sort of what levels. Every fighter gets in there, and I have such huge respect for them that I guess from fighting for my own life, even more, I have more respect for what they do, and it's put a different perspective on my own life. And yeah, I just take it a day at a time, and I'm really grateful to be back. And that's coming from a very deep place. I'm just, yeah, I guess I'm a slightly different person, having gone through what I did. Hitting sort of rock bottom physically and mentally has made me assess life, and made me think that, yeah, I really want to give back, and I really want to help fighters, and help young commentators and young reporters come through. And so I've got a very different outlook. But yeah, I guess the thing I'm most passionate about is holding a mic, and talking about the fighters I love. So yeah, I'm really pleased to be back.
Well, I'm pleased that you're back. I can't stop saying it. I'm sorry. People might be going in the comment section like, oh. But no, I mean, you're an absolute legend. And let's talk about some boxing. We've seen. Well, we'll start obviously with the Beterbiev Bivol fight. You did call that match between them. I mean, I could watch these guys fight for rounds and rounds. They could have 4 or 5 fights, and I'd still watch every single one of them and be tuned in. How do you feel about Beterbiev's performance compared to the last one, Adam?
Well, I agree with you in that I could watch round after round. I think I turned to Darren Barker at maybe the ninth or 10th and said, I don't want this to stop. It's that good when you get two fighters who just work together. I think we saw it with Morales and Barrera. We saw it obviously back in the day with Ali and Frazier. Bowen Holyfield was a great one. Of course, in more recent times, maybe Fury and Wilder. When you get these rematches, these trilogies, and we wished we got Mayweather and Pacquiao a few times, or Kell Brook and Amir Khan, but with this, it's
Oh yeah,
terrific. It's it's the two light heavyweights that rule the planet, and they just work together. I think Beterbiev was brilliant for so many of the rounds. You know, between sort of 3 and 7, maybe 7, 8, that sort of period of the fight. I thought he was going to win convincingly, but Bivol had won the early rounds, and I thought he came back so strongly over the last 4 or 5, and for me won the fight. I thought he nicked it last time, first time around Bivol, but I thought he won it. Maybe a little bit like the
convincingly.
judges had it this time, 2 or 3. But I mean, a lot of people I've spoken to thought Beterbiev won. So it's subjective, all these things, whether you like the attacker, the aggressor, whether you like the dancing feet maybe of the counter puncher. But I just thought Bivol's scoring punches, and I thought the fact that he ended the fight so much better this time. He paced himself. He had the guy working on his legs in between rounds, which I think was really important. And he got this second, third wind, which was astonishing because Beterbiev seemed to be in real control of the fight. And I think
Hmm.
Arthur may be kicking himself that he didn't impose himself more in those latter rounds. But
I
yeah,
don't
look,
think he can. Like,
you know, these are fine margins, you know, they're fine margins. It was another close fight, and they'll always give us that. And I think now it's one apiece. Certainly officially, I think we have to have a trilogy. And whether maybe Bivol fights Benavidez next, and maybe Beterbiev fights another, and they dance again this time next year as a sort of finale, who knows? But we've got to have a trilogy.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think Beterbiev, I think he was saying that he didn't kind of want to do the second fight after the first one, but you know, his Excellency Turkey El Sheikh, when that man wants something, it's definitely going to happen. Just to get your opinion, well, out of the two, so with Benavidez, and I've also heard Jaya Pataya, his name being mentioned for Bivol. Out of those two fights, which one would you like next for Bivol?
Benavidez for me. I think the Mexican monster deserves a big shot on a huge stage, and at the moment that stage is Riyadh season, of course. His Excellency, as you say, just putting on fight after fight at top level. It was one of the, if not the greatest cards I've ever seen last Saturday, and it was just, as I said to you before, a pleasure and an honour to be calling it for the zone. It's just it was lovely being back at ringside and having that privilege and watching some phenomenal fights. Callum Smith and Joshua Boatsi, one of the best
Ooh,
in a,
ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, sorry about that. I do apologize. Just popped the
no
button.
problem.
What were you saying, Adam?
I was saying that it was one of the, if not the greatest card I've ever seen last week. And the fact they got Josh Padley in and they got Martin Piccoli in at late notice, a peculiar one, of course, in the way it turned out. But the fact that His Excellency has that love of the sport and that power to get what he wants and to get what the fans want, I think more importantly, that's what he wants to bring us. And it was an amazing card. I thought Callum Smith and Joshua Boatsi were
Oh,
unbelievable.
amazing fight.
One of the great,
Amazing way
one
to
of the
open
great,
that show.
one of the great
Adam,
domestic dust ups of recent times. But yeah, getting back to the question, I think that I'd like to see Bivol against Benavidez next. I think that that's the one for me. Going up to cruiserweight, I'm not sure yet. And Jarbita's got business trying to unify the divisions. So for me, it'll be Bivol and Benavidez next.
I think that's a great fight. Absolutely great fight. Just obviously going back to that card there, you mentioned Callum Smith and Joshua Buatsi. I've been a massive fan of Joshua Buatsi when I think he was still with Eddie Matchroom and Sky, and also doing very well in the amateurs. I believe, in my opinion, the corners were the difference between victory and defeat for Joshua Boateng and Callum Smith. You know, you could just hear Buddy McGirt in the corner just telling Callum, "Listen, I will carry you myself. You can make it through." Just to get your thoughts on the corners and the match itself.
I thought it was just a fantastic fight, and it ebbed and flowed, and there were pockets of brilliance from Callum Smith, and there were wonderful ripostes from Joshua Boazzi. I just thought Callum was in that sort of mood that he would not be denied. The cut, the hairy moments, but he boxed really well, and I think it was simply a fighter that had it all on the line. Buddy McGirt helped drag it out of Callum, maybe because it was such an intense pace.
Amazing corner work.
But take nothing away from Joshua and Virgil Hunter. They played their part massively in it. I just think it came down to the fact that people have probably underestimated Callum, or maybe even mistakenly written him off. But I knew that his camp had been fantastic. I knew that he was and is desperate to become a two-weight champion, or certainly to have that another chance. I don't think he felt that he was right, albeit Batebiev obviously was a much better man on the night and maybe just too good for Callum. But ultimately, Callum felt that with the injury, he didn't have the best chance. And I think he wants that opportunity again. He doesn't have to box. He's made, great money over the years. He's got a lovely life. He's obviously got a great family of brothers around him, of the whole Smith outfit. But I think it was down to him and his passion and his belief in himself that got him through. Plus, maybe at times a little bit of extra experience and class. Boazzi has plenty of class and can come back. But I think maybe Callum had experienced that before, and that got him over the line. But it was a really, really good fight, and I'd love to see it again.
I'd love to see that again. I actually heard a rumor about that, but I'm not allowed to say. But I really, really hope that we do get that fight again. Really, really, really do. I think Josh can pull it off. He just didn't have what Callum fought like it was his last, and there just wasn't that from Josh, which was a little bit disappointing. But as you say, it was such an incredible fight. Well, let's get on to the main event, the Pierre Resistance. You got to crack a couple eggs, Adam, to make an omelet.
Ricco, I've seen it all before.
I was about to say, you've been there, you've seen it all. You've seen Derek Chisora chuck a table over David Hay. What did you make of? I mean, born rivals. They are rivals now. Adam, take us through it.
I think they were probably born rivals, as you say, since they were kids, since they were teenagers. It's the Eubank side and it's the Ben side, and that was traditionally the great British boxing rivalry when we were growing up, and it was furious then, and they're just polar opposites. Chris, it's a little bit like Carl Froch and George Groves, I guess, when you get two totally different people. Chris Eubank, in the way he went about the business and put the persona on with the jodhpurs and the monocle and the trach and all of that.
I love Eubank Senior. I love his mind games.
And me too. The poetry and all of that. And then Nigel, who was the army boy and who was in your face, and the total different styles of fighting as well. A perfect rival. Of course, Nigel never got the win; he got the draw. But I think that probably sat with him for a long time. I think Michael Watson was probably a good sort of peacemaker for the two of them. But sons of the legends, not as good as their dads, but certainly both really talented fighters in their own right. Chris has sort of dipped around world class and certainly has the edge going into this with the size and the experience. But Connor is just so fueled by it, and I think one of the big things is going to be how Tony Sims can control that boiling pot, because Chris has, hands down won this press conference week. He controlled it in Manchester. Obviously, the egg
weren't even close.
Yeah, it was premeditated. It went viral. Of course, you shouldn't put your hands on an opponent, but this is the fight business, and you never know what's going to happen. And he knew, but obviously it was a shock, and therefore a clip that with social media now and the power of that, which obviously they didn't
Viral.
have back in the days of the dads, goes all over the place. So the fight just got that whole bit bigger, and then Chris went and did it in a sort of calmer way last night at Tottenham, where he tried to undo Eddie at every given moment, especially with the 50 grand pledge. I thought that was really clever. And then of course
He's so good.
with the Nigel on the hands, and that knew that he'd get Conor like that. So I think Tony's got a really important job of calming Conor down, because Conor's going to be living, breathing, sleeping, eating, dreaming about Chris Eubank Jr. And I think Junior is going to get
He's
on.
got a post
He's going to get on
Eubank
and prepare for
in
a
his house
fight.
with some darts.
But I think that's the problem. I think it's great to have that energy, and he's going to fire through this. But if he goes in there just with the attitude, I'm going to smash him up in 4 rounds, a little bit like Nigel did against Michael Watson, he could come a cropper. So it's very important, because Chris is going to go back and he's going to work on a strategy, a fight plan, and execute it in business-like manner. And Connor's got to just to try and, or Tony's got to try and control that and make sure that it's controlled aggression, because he's got to have his tactics spot on for the night as well. But I tell you what, it's going to be electric at Tottenham. It's a great stadium. It's a fantastic fight. No one can predict the outcome or how it's going to happen. So, we've got a fight that's obviously seeped into the casual audience, and it's going to be great for boxing.
Absolutely. This fight, I didn't think that it could be bigger than the first one. I thought after the first one and how that ended and everything like that, I thought, okay, it's done. But Chris Eubank Jr. has single-handedly ignited this whole fight. I don't know what percentage he's getting, but I'd ask for a little bit more, because the promotion and he's a marketing genius, Adam. One thing people don't like Eubank Jr. I get it, in terms of some stuff, but that man is very clever. Very, very, very clever.
Yeah, it was.
Can I get a prediction from you, Adam?
As I said, it was all premeditated, and he ran the show in both press conferences. And Eddie, we normally hear his wonderful, eloquent tones, and
Killed
he
Eddie.
sells a fight like no one else. And just to have Chris biting away at it was just very, very funny. Prediction, I don't know, and that's the truth. It's a difficult fight to assess. You've got to say Chris goes in favourite, because of the fact he's been in with George Groves and Billy Joe, and he's fought at a high level. But Liam Smith beat him in the first fight, and he is older. Howell, sort of cracking down in weight, so excuse the pun. Come for him, and Howell Connor maybe feels a little bit more naturally bigger a couple of years on. And I think that if you look at the likes of your Usyks, who have got up and fought at much higher weights and been natural, and I mean Connor will bring a lot of speed to him. Whether he'll bring that punch power up, I'm not sure, but he'll bring speed. So he's going to be very, very dangerous, Conor Ben, and he wants this so badly. And they both know on April the 27th, that morning that they wake up, that it's going to be a huge thing, like it was with Khan and Brook. But Khan and Brook, it was almost like it was so late for that fight to happen. Whereas this one, we could get a rematch. That's the clause, and we could even get a trilogy. So, yeah, you may have more than even the dad's got in terms of the amount we could have with this fight. It all depends on that first fight. I was hoping that Brook and Khan would give us a rematch. We did 500,000 buys on Sky, because it
Very
was obviously
successful. You guys did really well.
it was a fantastic story. But Amir obviously was at the end, and if he'd been a bit more competitive, we would have had. I mean, he was brave, but it was one-sided. If it had been more even, I think we could have got a great rematch out of it. But this one, let's hope it's a fantastic fire fest, and we do get a second one. But whoever's the victor of that first time around, if it's clean and not controversial, was going to have huge bragging rights and huge, machismo on the other, and that's going to be a bitter pill to swallow for the loser.
Oh, can you imagine just that tweet the next day? Hello, mate. I beat you yesterday. And just finally, and also, Adam, thank you so much, man. You go out of your way to always help and support me and my channel and my dreams. So I just want to say thank you so much. I really wish more people could be like you, because you're one of the most selfless guys out here. Gervonta Tank Davis and Lamont Roach. Weird fight. Even weirder press conferences.
Yeah, very much so. Right.
Let's get a prediction from you.
I think Gervonta Davis wins. I think he's a phenomenon. I really love him. He could find power at any time of a fight. It could be tricky for a while, this one, stylistically. But I think Gervonta will find an answer, and we all want to see him in a mega fight like with Shakur, or he's box office, isn't he? He's pound for pound one of the best out there, and I love watching him fight. So yeah, I think he'll find a way of getting this done.
And make sure, guys, please tune in because I'm going to be doing the watch along to that. And we've also got some boxing this weekend with Queensberry. My guy Ryan Garner was fighting at the BIC in Bournemouth. I will be there, so come and say hello.
I'm down there. I'm down there. I'm down there for TalkSport. I'm really looking forward to it. Actually, he's a great little fighter, and it's a real story down on the south coast. He's great, isn't he?
I honestly, Ryan is the funniest guy like ever. My brother-in-law, he owns a barbershop, and Ryan came through, did the whole media thing. Wow, so lovely. Didn't want anything back, and it's people like that and yourselves, man, that just that make you love boxing and keep me in the game. Adam, thank you so much. This is I could talk to you for hours. It's like Matermia and Bivol 2, 3. Do you have anything you want to say to the fans? Any last words? But just thank you so much.
Yeah, I just want to say that I think the fans, and I am a big fan like you are. That's what I am. I'm a fan with a mic, really, and I just think it's wonderful that we've got so many amazing shows coming up. I think the spring might be one of the best springs we've ever had, or certainly in living memory. It's just fight week after fight week, and just fantastic stuff up and down the country, in the States, obviously the big shows in Saudi. It's just great, and I think everybody's excited about all different sides of boxing, whether it's your Benavidez Bivols, whether it's your top tier shows, whether it's obviously I work with GBM. We've got big shows coming up April the 4th. We've got a huge announcement next week, or whether it's Misfits and KSI, and everybody wants to be talking about boxing, which is fantastic, and there's different eyeballs on it. Yeah, there's different eyeballs on it now, young and obviously the traditional fans and the ones that want sort of the stories or the circus of Eubank Ben. It's there's something for everybody, and I think that's the most important thing. And I'll tell you what, I'll finish it off. I think any fighter that goes in the ring, whether it's Misfits, whether it's Small Hall, whether it's the youngsters of tomorrow, the next generation, or whether it's your Benavidez and Bivels, any fighter that gets in the ring has my utmost respect. It's a dangerous business, as we've seen in recent times, and the health and safety and happiness of those fighters who give us so much entertainment is always at the core for me. And whether I'm in Bournemouth, whether I'm in Riyadh, whether I'm in wherever, it doesn't matter. I just have all that respect for the fighters, and we wouldn't be here without them. So us fans are very lucky to be where we are and talking about a sport that we love, but it's the fighters that are the epicenter of everything that we do.
Spoken like a true man who loves his work, loves his job, and the people in it. Adam, thank you so much. Have an incredible day. I will see you tomorrow in Bournemouth. I didn't actually know you were going to be there. So yeah, I'm gonna come over. Hopefully you haven't got any eggs in your box now.
No eggs. I'll have my eggs for breakfast.
Oh well, you don't put all your eggs in one basket, or one Louis Vuitton jacket.
Easter's coming. We'll have some chocolate eggs maybe, but that's all we're getting in this house.
Well, I'm going to bring you a chocolate egg tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow, Adam. God bless you, sir. Thank you so much for everything. Take care, and yeah.
It's another band. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. I talk my card with a sweet one, please. Someone flicks me a bag by the say, oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah. It's a full strand, yeah. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah.